All right, it is 7 o'clock on Tuesday, December 7th, 2021. I will open up the committee of the committee meeting for the Village of Davis Junction. Sandy, if you can take roll call.
Yep, I have committee members Chris Samples,
Here.
John Talbot,
Here.
Nathan Maz,
Here.
Jen Christensen,
Here.
Bill Motisi.
Here.
I have committee member and President Pro Tem William Luxinger.
Here,
President Rick Worm is absent. Treasurer Brenda Onabany.
Here.
I Clerk Sandy Maz am here. Public Works Supervisor Brett Berge
Here.
and Village Engineer Matt Hanson.
Here.
Sorry, before we go on, is our mic working on? So I don't have to
Yes.
scream out? Okay,
Yeah, yes, but I will let the public let you know if you're not speaking loud enough.
that's fine. She usually does.
all right, at this time, I'll entertain a motion for the November 2nd, 2021 Committee of Committee Minutes.
I'll approve a motion. Make a motion to approve the November 2nd, 2021 Committee of Committees minutes.
Jen made a motion to approve the November 2nd, 2021 Committee of Committee meeting minutes. John seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, if you can take roll call.
All in favors are allowable again.
I do just plain and simple, just.
All right.
Yay.
All
Yeah.
right, Jen,
Yes.
Bill,
Yeah.
John,
Yes.
Nathan,
Yes.
Chris, William.
Yes. I can't keep track of what is and isn't.
We're no longer under COVID rules, so we no longer have to abide
see.
by roll call on everything.
Half the base isn't taken up.
Yep.
We saved a tree.
Saving
Agenda.
ink. Woo. Under the president, there's a presentation by Surf Broadband.
They're
Not me.
here. They-
Doesn't look like that's gonna happen.
Moving on. The clerk.
Snowstorm come in and.
The only thing I have is that last year or earlier this year, you guys had approved the sale of the 2010 F-250, which we call Georgia's truck. We replaced it with the Ford Ranger that just came in, and so we're ready to sell the truck. We're gonna put it on the market in the next week or so, but we're gonna list it for 19.5. We'll see what happens.
So how long did it take us to get that truck?
Actually, not too bad.
That
A
wasn't
couple
too
months.
bad, yeah.
Okay, and they quoted you like 12.
They would not.
Oh, they would not.
Yeah, they would not give us a time because they
That-
didn't know.
Getting logoed and all that.
It's already
stuff.
done.
Done,
He's,
done?
he's driving it.
Fancy.
The only thing we haven't done is put any lights on it, but George doesn't need too much, so we're just gonna do some real simple warning lights and, no, he's driving it. It's done.
You know me, I prefer not to chimp on the lights, so
Oh, no, I agree, but like I
you
said,
never know what it's gonna use down the road.
Yep.
so. Anything else, Sandy?
Nope, that's all I had.
You use Quick Call, Fergie?
no.
Oh, we don't go to Quick Call.
No.
I don't have anything right now.
Moving on. The engineer, Matt.
All right, project status report, just, I guess be on the third and fourth page at the bottom, just two things of note. Last month, we had 4 ditch inspections out at Plat 10 at 3, all right in a row, 339, 340, 341, and 342 White Birch Lane. So 2 of them required a little bit of rework. 2 of them were acceptable. They made the corrections on the other 2. We went out and rechecked them and they were fine. And when we did the recheck, they had actually went ahead and sodded all the ditches and everything. So everything.
These for
Okay.
temporary or permanent COs?
These are for no COs. This was simply their ditch inspection in compliance with our settlement agreement. At some point, they will ask for COs.
Oh,
and
okay.
I don't know that there are yards in them, so we'll just,
Got it.
we'll get to that when we get to it. At this point, they simply just asked for the ditch inspection.
Were those the ones that they did the driveways for or no?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Did they sod the whole lawn?
No, just the ditches,
Yeah,
just the
and
ditches,
then
yep.
It'll be a temporary CO.
And then the last one, new one that I put on this month, the Rebuild Illinois Downtown Main Street and Capitol grant application. State came out with another grant. It's really to basically help businesses in downtown Main Street areas or commercial corridors to kind of help those businesses that were most hurt by COVID. So William was talked to me and he wanted to take a look at, with the property that the Village owns out on 72 kind of qualify, and it would. So what we're looking at in a grant application is to basically build an 8,000 square foot building that would have 3 tenant spaces, 2 1,500 square foot approximately on the ends, and then a roughly 5,000 square foot tenant space in the middle. And that would include, you know, getting utilities to the building and then, you know, all the site work and stuff. So basically, if you got the grant and you got it built, it would, once you're done, you'd be ready to rent out those 3 spaces. So
Who would it belong to?
the lots belong to the village.
I know that part.
Yep.
The
we-
building belong to the village?
The building would initially be property of the village, but we can in turn sell it.
All right, that's all. I just wanted to
Yes.
wonder how that worked.
That would kind of be the ideal solution. And we already have a perspective.
And you get to keep that money? The federal government pays for the grant?
We wouldn't, yeah, it's
Yeah.
through the federal government. It wouldn't be a sale for profit for the village, so to speak.
Just help with the.
No, I get that. To bring businesses to
Yeah.
the village. I get that part.
Yep.
I just thought the money would end up having to go back to the.
A tax revenue generating business or
Yes.
another
Well, that's
service
hope
industry
anyway.
type?
The one thing with the grant, I guess,
well-
and we'll finalize it, but you know, the one caveat is if the village is gonna own the building, and we have not got any determination on how long, if that's perpetual or if it's a certain length of time, they don't want, with the grant program, if it's for municipal infrastructure or buildings, there's no match requirement, so it's 100% grant. Now, this grant program is set up for private entities as well, but if you're a private entity and you're going after the money, then there's a 50 match. So, you know, 50% of the cost would be grant, 50 would be, you know, private. So the trick is, you know, and stuff here is, you know, the village is probably gonna have to own the building for some time and rent before they can think about selling it, because they don't want to circumvent the
No, it's no problem.
50-50 match and.
Out of curiosity, so, how do I want to word this? So the grant process would allow to us to build could possibly allow us to build a municipal building?
This one is real, it's really for business
All right.
develop. Yeah, I should,
That's what I
yeah,
thought.
sorry, Chris.
That's what I
Yeah, it
thought.
wouldn't be for like if somebody wanted to build a
Municipal
village.
owned To rent out.
All right.
Not-
Yeah, if you wanted to build a public works building or a village hall, it wouldn't qualify, but this one does because you're building a commercial building that would be used for.
No, that'd be great if we could bring some additional businesses that might, you know,
We've already had interest on, it went out today and we already have responses.
okay. Well, it could be the grocery store.
So the-
No, right?
Grant applications are due the 10th and they anticipate announcing these in April. Now, they've been pretty slow about it, but the one thing about this program is the funding has federal COVID money in it, and it does have some state money and stuff in it that's funding this grant program. And because it's got this federal COVID money in it, the money's got to be spent by the end of 2024. So they're going to have to announce the grants fairly quickly so these projects can get moved along and built and
This is-
closed out by the end of 2024. So,
This is the
Right.
same grant that I talked to you guys about a couple months ago where I also expressed that we should have Fairground, who's doing the parts?
Fairground.
But we should also have Fairground drop an application to seek a grant to do the pond work. Because we can submit more than one.
Well, you know,
So-
if they have that, if the money's available through the federal government, I don't know who's administering it, whether it's the federal or the state government, but if it's available, we must give it a shot, right?
yeah, it's all being administered at the state level. DCO is the one that's the lucky organization at the state level that's got to manage all these state and federal grants. So.
How much are we talking about on the grant? I must,
The maximum amount is $3 million. The floor is 250,000. You're gonna probably be right in between. We don't have all the site costs and stuff, but the preliminary building is roughly around $1 million by the time.
I
we
think
get-
we're pushing close to 2 to 3 million between the infrastructure that was gonna require a sewer and the road entrance and building construction.
Yeah.
The caveat is we own the land, so that's the benefit.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
I think we're gonna be pushing between the 2 to 3 million ticket when we submit it.
The grant's gonna come to us, though, not to the,
Correct.
Yes,
okay.
yep, it'll be
So-
to the village, correct.
So it could be anywhere from, we don't know the exact amount yet, right?
Yeah, once we figure the final cost estimate, that's what we're gonna request for the. for
So
the
we have to
grant
do
amount.
we have to do a preliminary, they'll do a preliminary estimate of the cost of the sewer, the road and the building.
Yeah.
Get a dollar amount, and then that's what they're gonna submit to the grant.
Okay. Will it also include in that grant the operations of the streets and the sewers or any amenities that we have to put in there?
It'll pay for all the construction costs. Once you get into the, once it's built, all the operation maintenance costs related to it will be, by the village or the tenant who ends up
Mhm.
renting out space,
Okay, all
however that'll work.
right, thanks. Thanks, fellas.
Anything else, Matt?
That's all on that. I see you had something on there for 2022 projects. Do you want to go through any of those, Chris, or you?
Get to that. Can you talk about this real quick?
Oh, yeah, last time we checked, I think we, Davis Junction finished 15th. I don't know what the total number of, applications were, but, you did get, a small picture of the village water tower in June of 2022, so you made Tanemic
What count?
calendar.
We're famous now.
I don't want to know.
It's
Yeah.
for the Tanemic.
Tanemic, they are kind of the industry leader in industrial paints and especially on water systems and water
Nice.
towers. I would
That's
say the vast majority of water towers are probably painted with Tanemic paints.
And I will say for a town of our size, I was very impressed with the amount of people who voted. And I do know that a lot of our dedicated Facebook residents voted, so that was nice, but.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's good. It's nice being honored like that.
Yep.
Okay, that was it.
I wanted, I actually just wanted that stuff in the packet for the
Okay,
trustees too.
Yep.
If anybody has any questions on what we have so far, it was just a more of a, informational for all the trustees for the future for next year. There's one other project that I want to look into too before, we get going, and we won't be, considering any projects until later in the year. Anything that we end up having to bid, we'd like to discuss and talk about before we get to that portion, if we end up going forward with the projects that are on the list. But for now, this is for your informational, and there'll probably be one more possible project coming, and then we could decide what we want to do going forward. I did find though that the earlier we get bids in, the better pricing we get for it. Because this year we actually got pretty good pricing on the project that we did. So I think the earlier you get it, the better off you end up, because the people don't have the jobs, and once they do, then it becomes more expensive for them.
When do you in your mind want to look at bidding?
Well, we did it last year in March, right?
yeah, I think it was probably about right.
Yeah, it ended up getting pushed back, which concerned me for a couple weeks, because we had that one.
Oh,
I know.
the hiccup in the publication of the
Yeah.
bidding.
Right, but it didn't hurt, because so late March, early April, right around there. That was when we did it. right?
Yep,
Yeah,
yep,
well,
I believe so.
that was better than we had done in the past.
Yep.
Because we waited in the past, and it actually came out a little later than that, late April, early May, and I think it ended up probably costing us more money.
I mean, even if you bid at that time, by the time you get the contracts executed, contractor gets out there, the money they won't be processing a pay request until your next fiscal
Oh,
year.
right,
so-
no, I totally understand that,
Yeah.
but the earlier you get it.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
The better pricing you end up getting. Once they become, they've had some jobs, they're not as hungry or whatever, and I think it ends up costing you more money.
So here's the dilemma that I have, or something I'd like you guys to think about.
Sure.
To the dismay of my fellow supervisors, we start budget talks next month. And so it would be ideal for us discussing budgets if we knew what the priority of these projects are to you. So if it's possible to get a priority from you as to what you want from the board, that would be helpful to us to start budgeting. And it's by no means any final, we're holding you to it.
No,
But we
and I can
need
do
to
that, no
know.
problem.
Yeah.
After I get the last one.
Yeah.
Then we can go, actually, Brett and I can go over it and we can decide what we think is, priority for the village and can,
Yeah, and just
Right.
number them one
Yeah.
through, I think you got 5 years, so
Right.
6, just number them 1 through
Right.
6, so we know what's the priority and which one, if we have to balance, is okay.
understood,
All right,
and we'll do that.
That's
You know,
all I
you'll have to
ask.
remind me though, when we get closer to your budgeting date.
all right. It'll be sometime in January. I usually let Brenda get through end of the year.
I'm old, I don't remember stuff.
All right.
Just saying.
I know the
It
feeling.
goes in, it stays in a little bit, and then it fades away.
All right.
Yep.
That all, Matt?
Yep, that's all I got.
Moving on to the committees. Jen?
I had the drive-through holiday party, whatever you want to call it, on Saturday from 3 to 5. I gave out a roughly 165 bags to children. And that was pretty fast, and it was actually nice to have people study through and stuff, so. And then I'm working on the blood drive on December 30th. The hours are gonna be from 3 to 7. That's gonna be at the fire station.
What day was that?
It's a Thursday, the 30th, December 30th. I'm gonna try it after Christmas this year to see if it gets a little better. It's always pretty decent, but I'd like better numbers. So, that's all I have.
Under myself, there's the discussion of the draft tax levy ordinance. You guys review the ordinance. It was just the standard 5% increase. If not, we can add it to the consent agenda next week. Everybody go with that?
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you. Moving on to ordinance, Bill,
Nothing at this moment.
John,
Nate and I will be meeting with Dylan before the end of the year, and then I'll bring an update back, hopefully before the end of the year.
Who's Dylan?
Fair Grand.
What's he do there?
He's a gentleman we've been working on our parks engineering with.
So he's an engineer.
Thank you. People watching videos for the first time.
Oh, I thought everyone knew Dylan, but no.
anything else?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Chris?
It just looks like we're gonna have good weather for the next week or so, so maybe we won't have any snow.
We had snow today.
It's true, I'm talking snow, not a flurry. I don't know, I was watching the news last night and it looked like for,
60s next week.
yeah, so maybe we won't have to plow until the end of December. That would be nice, huh, Fergie?
Yes,
Do you have anything for streets there?
I do not.
Then that'll be it from.
Nate?
I believe everything is just, we're still waiting on bids and skater project is continuing, so other than that, that's it.
Old business, Verizon? LR lease.
I haven't heard anything.
We've heard nothing back. I know, the last email that Chris and I got was sometime in October, and Verizon had switched attorneys, and Dan has reached out a couple of times to them, and I'm guessing to no avail that he's heard nothing.
Anything from the public, Linda?
Yes, but I'll discuss it with you or Sandy in private.
Okay,
I just have one more thing that I'm gonna add since Surf Broadband is not here, just so everybody is aware. Rick has already met with them with Stillman Valley and Byron. They would like to come to all 3 of our areas at the same time. I had the joys of going with Nathan to the mayor's meeting, and appears that Surf is approaching a bunch of small communities in our area. Some of the communities had concerns with the contract that they're asking the municipalities to sign. So I have been directed to send the contract that they sent to us for proposal to Ansel Link to take me, a good hard look at first to see if it's even something we want to enter into. So I'm going to go ahead and continue that process and maybe they'll show up.
That's the new one.
So they're fixed
Their
fiber.
broadband?
They're
Yeah,
fixed
Didn't we
fiber.
already talk about that one? before?
You
Yeah.
did. Rick, after he met with them, had mentioned it to you guys that he had met with them.
They're the wireless fiber option.
Fiber optic.
There's fiber
Fiber
option.
optic.
Yeah, they're the ones that'll, their pedestals will be below ground. I think he mentioned, I'm trying to think what else he mentioned during that meeting.
Faster speeds, things of
Yeah.
that nature, yeah.
I don't know. I like competition. Never heard.
Yeah, it doesn't
I
hurt.
do
does it?
too. The agreements were so egregious though, that when I opened it, I actually read it, closed it back up, sent it to Rick. It's gotta be looked at. They're asking for things like being listed as the sole broadband provider in Village of Davis Junction and that we.
There goes your competition.
And
No,
that we
no,
advertise
thanks.
for them. And then in
Mm.
talking to the mayor from Dixon at the mayor's meeting, they caught some things in the contract that they're not sure are even legally enforceable. And so it's things like that that we need to see it. I'd like to get the village attorney's feedback on it as well.
Did Dixon sign with them?
Apparently they were open to negotiation of the agreement and they passed a motion for an intent to move in that direction.
Yeah, I wouldn't sign anything. I wouldn't want us to agree.
No.
For our residents.
And that's why when I opened the agreement, I was like, nope, this is something that's gotta go to the village attorneys. It's pretty not what our standard practices are. That's what I have on surf.
Just as a side note, today is the 80th anniversary of Pearl Harbor. Think of it.
Yeah.
Especially a
Thank
World War
Thank
II
you.
vet. Not-
Brad, William, Chris,
Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
second. Motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
John made a motion to adjourn. Jen second. Any discussion? I can do it all in favor. Right?
Yep.
All in favor?
Yeah.
Any opposed? We are adjourned at 7:22.
Oh, I thought William made the